Good morning, everyone. Hello. It's your old friend, Dr. Andrew Michaels, and I am here to help you. Happy Father's Day, everyone. Happy Father's Day. And I know a lot of you have lost a father or don't have a father over the years because of certain situations, and I want you to know that I've had it requested on me so many times that people would love to have a beer with me. So many people wanted to crack open a cold one and have a beer with me over the years. And I thought Father's Day is the perfect day for you and I, regardless of whether you, who's in your life or what you're going through. You don't have to drink with me if you don't want to have an alcoholic beverage. If you just want to have a drink with me, let's just say that. We're going to have a drink together. I'm going to have this 40-ounce Colt 45 Malt Liquor. Malt Liquor. Love my malt liquor. I don't drink very much anymore. I actually strictly only drink for, look at that, it's pretty cool. I think it's this way, I don't know. Take a look at that, that's pretty cool. I have it upside down, I can't have my glasses on. I really don't drink anymore. I haven't drank for years, actually. You might say, well, why would you, if you don't drink, why do you? Because sometimes I would like to just sit down and have a beer with with my friends, with my sons, with my family. Just, it's a beer. A beer's just a drink. At least it is for me. I mean, maybe it's a little different for other people, but just sit down and have a beer. Talk, open up, say things to each other. I don't know. There's just something about it. And there were some people in my life that I always wished I could sit down and have a beer with. And some I got to do that. I accomplished that. Had a really good conversation with. And then there was others I never got to have that opportunity with for different reasons. And it's sad. And I don't want you to miss out on that. I have gone to several YouTube meetups and met some really cool fellow artists and lots of people friends of mine who watch the channel, watch the videos, and I'm always honored by all of you when I meet you, and I greet everyone as a friend. And that's very important. I think that's something that's lost today in our current political climate. Just because you don't agree with somebody politically or socially or even religiously, that doesn't mean you can't sit down and greet them as a friend and share a drink with them. And it doesn't have to be alcoholic. So if that's a problem with you or you're too young to drink, just have a Coke, have a Pepsi, and have a juice or just a bottle of water. We're going to sit down and have a little talk. And I think it'll be fun today. And we're going to be friends. We're going to greet each other as friends. And that's very important. And I know the big question for everybody is how things went at the No Kings rally yesterday. And if you haven't seen my video, there'll be a link here and in the description below. It'll be connected to this video. I did a video on No Kings rally that happened yesterday nationwide. I think it was like 2,000 cities and towns across the United States held a rally against executive branch overreach. It really wasn't about immigration. I don't know how that got mixed into the message. The No Kings demonstrations was about executive branch overreach in the federal government. And at least that was for me. And that's fine. I mean, if you think it's okay to round up people like the Gestapo and refuse them due process and send them to camps in another country That's fine. I mean, if that's what you think is just great, that's fine. So you know where I stand on that. But that is not what yesterday's rally was about. Even though I am a huge uh, critic of the United States government, current government, and their use of not allowing people due process, I don't know why that would bother somebody, that somebody would not be afforded due process. That blows my mind. Even if you're not a United States citizen, if you're arrested, detained in the United States of America, you're afforded due process. You're afforded the legal rule of law. You're not. They can't just take you and do what they want with you and hold you indefinitely. And I don't think people understand that. There is no saying. They do it to them first, and then they do it to you next. Do I think the United States is sliding into some kind of Nazi Germany type thing? No. And that's the point. We're trying to prevent that. If people feel, not feelings, if they feel from what they're seeing that government overreach is going too far, the Patriot Act, the breakdown of law and order, the courts rolling over for these executive decisions. If we don't feel the checks and balances of the judicial, legislation, and executive branches are being maintained, we have a right to protest that, and we have a right to be heard and have our voices amplified, and we have a right to petition our government for change. And that's not going to stop. Like people who didn't like legalized abortion in this country, Roe versus Wade, you petitioned your government, you protested, you stood up for what you thought was right, you fought against it, and when it got overturned, you were happy. You accomplished your political goal. Why is it that when you did it, it was okay, but when someone else does it, it's not okay? You know, it's okay for you to strip away rights of females in this country and take away their rights. That was totally okay for you to do that. And you justified it a million different ways. But when somebody says, I think there's government overreach here, I think the government is getting out of control, I think the government needs to have some more checks and balances, you have a totally different opinion of it. And that offends me. That does offend me. Let's get busy. Okay. Crack it on screen. Oh, hands wet. Look at that. This is an oldie but a goodie. Oh, look at that. Oh boy, that's a good one. Labels out, baby. Look at that. Colt 45. Works every time. Oh, mother's milk. Oh, happy Father's Day. Hallelujah. Oh, that's a sweet nectar. Oh, that's a baby. Oh, that's beauty. That's a good one. Whew. Anyway, cheers. Let's tap glasses. Clink. Let's do a toast. A toast to No King's Day. Let's do another toast. Clink. It's a toast for Father's Day. To all the fathers out there. Here's one for you, Daddy-O. Oh, that's good. That is good. Colt 45. Works every time. That's a thumbnail right there. Yeah. So, I did a video on the No Kings rally, and I took a lot of heat for it. I took a lot of slams. I lost, and I'm being realistic here. I could flim-flam the numbers. I lost like negative 68, 69 subscribers yesterday on paper, but I was doing a promotional for my channel that was usually giving me about 160 subscribers for a day, 150 subscribers a day. And I gain subscribers every day, between 15, 20 on a normal day without the promotional. So realistically, I probably lost about 200, 250 subscribers yesterday. And, that's pretty hard. That's a lot of people. And I've lost some today too, probably 15 or 20 today, which is expected. You usually lose a lot in the morning. YouTube does some thing where they do your channel every day, you lose subs. They drop people from you. It's like you're subscribed to somebody and then all of a sudden you wake up one morning and you don't see their videos. So you check and here they are removed from your subscriber list. So you have to check that. Always make sure. I'm sorry my eye's squinting so much lately. All this stress of what's going on in the country and things. The nerve damage in my face likes to squinch up when I'm really stressed out. So I apologize, I can't help it, but I've learned to live with it. And I've recovered a lot, but I still, if you look, this side of my head still, I haven't got the full muscle nerves back here. And it's been a long time. It's going to be a lot longer too. I have a friend of mine who had an attack of Bell's palsy like I did. I think it's 8 or 10 years on, he is still having problems like I am. He got his attack happened before mine, so I'm watching him recover, and so I know I'll eventually heal. I know eventually I'll get better, but it's a struggle and it sucks. And people might say, well, you lost a lot of subscribers, that taught you a lesson. Well, in the scheme of things, it's not that many people. Well, I'll explain some more numbers that give you a reference to this. Labels out, people, labels out. I hope you're having a wonderful Father's Day yourself out there, and I hope you're enjoying your family and your friends, or just enjoying being here. I hope you're having a good time. On a normal video, somebody wrote, let's give you a reference. Somebody wrote, you have 280 subscribers, you only get like 10,000 views a video on average. You're such a has-been. You're losing subscribers. You're a loser. They laughed at me, and I thought, that's something to talk about. I do get frustrated. I work very hard on my videos, like mentally, and then I do them, and they do mediocre. I get 10 to 15,000 views a day. I get like, right now I'm getting like 320 to 350,000 views a month. That's where I'm kind of at now. I don't quite have 350, but I'm on that range. Say 320, 350, 350,000. And I've had better days. I'm definitely on the other end of the bell curve. I started my channel up and peaked, and now I'm on the other side. And I can assure you, I know politics, religion, speaking about anti-science bullcrap that offends me has greatly hurt my channel and diminished my audience. And COVID really killed me because I spoke out a lot about that. I don't like to say it because you get dinged. I just don't feel like getting dinged. But I was pro-vaccine, and I'm not apologizing for it. I was correct. I was right. I'm on the right side of history on these issues. I do my research. I do a lot of research. I have a job where I can read a lot on the job, and my kids are grown. My wife works during the day. We work opposite shifts. I'm alone a lot, and to fill that void, I read a lot. And I assure you, I am very well read. I am very well educated. I may only have a high school diploma and my engineering license for the boiler work that I do. I work at a power plant. Just like Homer Simpson, I work at a power plant. Um, in a control room, just like Homer Simpson. But I think I'm a tad bit smarter than Homer Simpson. Not much, just a little bit. Oh my God, that is so good. That is so good. I have missed having a beer with you. I'm so glad we're doing this together. Ease my chair back so I can be more comfortable. Hope you're comfortable where you're sitting or laying down listening to this video. I hope you're very comfortable. And, lost my train of thought. Okay, on a new video, I might get 10, 20,000 views on a video. One of my newest ones, it was called Cranial Worm Exam. It was out for a week, and it got like 600-700 thumbs up, maybe 15, 20 thumbs down. That's normal. You get a bunch, no matter what you do. And it got like 13,000 views and a bunch of comments. I don't know how many, maybe 100 something comments. I was really proud of that video, and I thought it was really good, and I thought it was a really great request. It was an idea somebody gave me. I really loved it. But just an example, that took all week to get those numbers. Yesterday, I did a politically charged video, the No Kings one, and it generated about 5,000 views in 20-something hours when I was looking at it when I'm filming this. 800 and something likes, 400, almost 500 comments. There was like 800 something positive likes, and then I'll be honest, it was like 120 something negative thumbs down. You can't see that number, but I'm being honest, that's what it was on there. And I got a lot of nasty comments and a lot of people saying they unsubscribed. And they did. Like I said, I probably lost 200, 250 subscribers yesterday. But you got to look at it from the other point of view. That video was wildly successful for me. I got 2 donations, one for €10 and one for $20. And I probably made, and it had a good watch time, not a great watch time, but a good watch time, and a great click-through rate. Oh, baby. You know, I probably made a pretty good penny yesterday on the channel as a whole. I had about 15,000 views yesterday, somewhere in that range. And I don't know what I made, but it's probably close to $45-50 or more, depending on the donations are hard to figure in because YouTube they take a big percentage. I don't know how it all works. And I don't know if both donations will fall on yesterday or today. So I could have made $50-60 yesterday, or I could have made 35 or 40. I don't know. But still, it was a good day. Saturdays are usually my worst day of the week. I was probably going to make $28-29 for the day. And I ended up making probably close to maybe double that. I don't know. We'll see. So it was a very successful video. And I'm sorry if this hurts anybody's feelings out there. But that's how YouTube works. YouTube is a whore machine. If you're not willing to whore yourself out there, you're not going to be successful. The algorithm's going to ignore you. If you're not driving some kind of audience with some kind of storyline or something, if you can't drive your audience, the algorithm's just going to ignore you. So the fact that I was divisive and doing a video that was very political and everything, and controversial, very controversial, that's the word I was looking for. The algorithm's going to pick up on that. I'm going to do well from that. I'm going to have a good run from that. It's going to help my channel. And I don't want to change this channel. I still want it to be an ASMR channel, but, I'm going to go for the views once in a while. and I'm going to go for the subjects that matter, and not just because I care politically or socially or because I love the people around me. I love the people of the United States of America, and I'm worried about them. But I'm going to do it too because I've got a thick skin, and if you want to pound on me and call me a loser, tell me you're going to unsubscribe, or just generally hurt me. You know, I got a couple death threats yesterday. And you can see that had a big effect. Because here I am saying, here I am. What are you going to do about it? You're not going to do anything about it. And if you do want to do something about it, here I am. And I'm not going anywhere. So your threats fell on deaf ears. And that's a good thing. If I can teach any of you out there right now, I am 100% sure. Now there's outliers. There's those odd ones. But I am 100% convinced and sure in my heart that the other side of this coin are abject cowards. And I don't fear a single one of them. I believe we have cowards running our country from the top all the way down to their nasty, foul-mouthed, unchristian, unethical, not nice, evil little trolls that support them. And I think they're all cowards. And I think that yesterday proved it. They had rallies in 2,000 cities around in towns across the country, and people turned out for the No Kings rallies. They didn't turn out for his shitty, self-serving birthday parade. That was embarrassing. That was very embarrassing. Not from the military. I'm proud of my military. I'm proud of the United States. Those men, they serve with distinction and honor and integrity. I was ashamed and embarrassed that the king himself was sitting there on his birthday wanting everybody to pat him on the back and feed him birthday cake. And if you don't believe me, you go look at the video. He looked pissed off. He looked very, very angry. He looked like a little kid that got his little feelings hurt because everybody's giggling and laughing at him. There just wasn't that many people at that parade, not compared to what was going on elsewhere. And that's a movement. That is a political movement, and we have every right to pursue it. You had every right to pursue what you thought was important. I've had some people bring up the Second Amendment. This bothers me. This really bothers me. Almost every human being I know in the United States, I'm saying every human being I know, and I know a lot of people, owns a gun or two or three or four. I know, I'd have to really think about it. I can't think, maybe one, two, maybe two people I know off the top of my head that don't have a gun, a firearm of some kind in their home. I own weapons. I own firearms. I see these Second Amendment people going, you people are against the Second Amendment. You're against the Second Amendment. They're going to, we're going to have to show you, we're going to have to show you, like we want to stop them, and we're going to show you because we got our guns. We're going to show you. It's like, dude, we're all armed. Everyone is armed in this country. I think I saw a statistic, and somebody can look it up and tell me I'm wrong. I think there's like 9 or 10 firearms per every human being in the United States. Like, there's 350 million people in the United States. So there's like 9 times that in firearms and guns. That's probably true. I don't want to say what I have or how many, but that's probably true. And I just have them for last minute home protection. I don't carry. I don't have any need for it. I'm not worried about it. I live a relatively safe life, and I'm pretty able to take care of myself. I don't have to defend my ground. Everybody is such a pissant sometimes. But, I'm not anti-Second Amendment. None of us are. We all own guns. I don't understand where this mentality, they have fooled people so badly. And then they bring up the abortion issue. They overturned Roe v. Wade. You guys fought for that, people out there. You fought for 40, 50 years to get that overturned. They overturned it. Good on Trump. He delivered for you. He did what he said he would do. Good. You can hold that one up. He took away the rights of women. Just like he's taken away the rights of trans people by throwing them out of the military. I think there's like 1,000 trans people that have been, what do they call that, discharged from the military since like May, I think, or March, by the Trump administration. They have a ban on trans people serving in the military. So you don't have that right anymore. They took a right away from our veterans. Those people, by the way, were veterans, are veterans. They were veterans. They took their rights away. They're trans, so you can, smear these people all you want. I know that 50% of the people out there in the United States want these people to just go away. And you know what I'm talking about. You want them to just be disappeared. And they do. That's what they want. But this 1,000 or so people that they've thrown out of our military, these trans people, they were veterans. They are veterans. They were serving our country. They were defending us. They were protecting us. They were doing their part. We have an all-volunteer military. These people were serving under their own accord. Serving. You don't want them. You've thrown them out. You've taken their rights away. You have removed their rights. Women who have medical reasons, social reasons, all kinds of reasons, moral reasons, maybe just economic reasons to have abortion, no longer have autonomy over their own bodies. I can go get a vasectomy or refuse a vasectomy. I can do whatever I want with my body. They can't. They have had their rights stripped away from them. And that's completely okay for anybody out there. But do you see that? Can you try to understand that? And I'm not talking to my audience that is going to pat me on the back and say, yay. I'm talking to those of you that are out there that are just so agitated. You're going to watch this and say, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And you're going to give me reasons why it's okay to take people's rights away. But at the end of the day, you're still stripping another human being of a right. But they better not take your rights away. Better not touch your guns. Better not tell you who to sleep with, who to marry, who to be friends with, who to live next door. None of that, right? Of course, we're not going to get into that, right? I've always noticed that conservative people will sit there and pound this little drum. They don't do it so much anymore because they know they're a bunch of bullshit artists. But they like to pound this little drum about how they're anti-government, anti-big government. They don't want government interfering with, their businesses, their lives. They don't want the government telling them what to do. All this bullshit. But then when they come into power, the first thing they do is they start limiting everybody else's rights, taking away the rights of others. And they want to know who you're sleeping with, who you're having sex with, what's going on in your bedroom. They want to know what your daughter's doing. They want to know who your daughter's dating. They want to know what religion you are. Are you the right religion? Because that's important too. They believe in freedom of religion as long as the right religion, not those other ones. I noticed they count Roman Catholics as, United States is, they do this. This is true. This is true in the United States of America. This is one of my favorites. They count the Roman Catholic population in the United States as Christian and say, look at that. Like 70, 80% of the United States is Christian. This is a Christian nation. But then in private, or when they're not counting the total, they go, well, Mormons, they're not really Christians. They count them when they need that total number. They count the Mormons, the Jehovah's Witnesses, the Roman Catholics. But then when they're talking about, real Christians, the real people, we're the real ones. We're the right ones, Catholics aren't really Christians, and Mormons aren't really Christians, and Jehovah's Witnesses, they're a cult. I just sit there and go like, boy, you people, they do that. Do they do that in where you live? They do that where I live in Ohio. They do that, and it makes me sick to my stomach. You worship the same deity and the same God. There are more religious people in the United States than atheists and non-believers and agnostics. But that number's changing, and they can't stand it. Because as that number changes, they lose control. And that's all it's about, is control. And that's what I was hoping to talk to you about today. Control. I know talking about political things is damaging to my channel overall. And it loses me long-term viewers. And I know that talking about social issues are taboo. And YouTube will zing you on most of them. But there is this agenda in the United States, and it is being forced upon us by a religious minority in this country, mostly on the eastern part of the United States, east of the Mississippi. And they're just relentless. They are win at all costs people. Win at all costs. They don't care what kind of evil, what kind of non-Christian evil, demonic, horrific things they have to do to exert their dominance and control over you and over the population that they have to do. And it's not a secret. They perform it right out in the open for everyone to see. And they are corrupt, and they are horrific abominations of the human race. And I say that with complete disrespect to them as human beings, and I can say that with no quarter. I am Tara, the Wayo. I am the way of the slit throat. And they are abominations upon this earth in the form of humanity. They should be ashamed of themselves and everything they represent. And I will tell you why. I will tell you why. Because they will point out every splinter mistake around them that others do. But they will cover up from top to bottom, They will cover up the most horrific abuses of children and women, and embezzlement, and thievery, and backroom deals. They will cover it up as long as the day is the sun shining. They will do it. And they won't stop. They will cover up horrific abuses of children under the guise of the church helping them. In Canada, for instance, with the Native American population. And we're just now starting to become aware of that. And I don't want to speak of a specific church name. I don't want to draw ire here. But there are churches out there that when a priest or a minister offends, gets caught molesting or raping or whatever, they'll just move him to a different church, to a different diocese, and just let him continue on his merry way. And they'll settle in court. They'll settle out of court with money. They'll pay people off to get the people to silence them. I don't even know how. Some of these religions even operate in the United States of America with our free press and our free speech and freedom of expression. don't know how some of these religions still operate in the United States of America. I guess it doesn't matter. I guess you can go on a rampage and rape and destroy the lives of children and women and men, for that matter, for generational abuse, and still operate freely in this country. And I do not understand it, and I do have a problem with it. And it's not just one branch of Christianity, it's all of them. They cover it up. They've all been caught. They've all been taken to court. They've all participated. There are great injustices and blasphemies against humanity in the Catholic Church, the Baptist Church, the Protestant movement, the Mormons, the Jehovah's Witnesses. I believe there's certain countries where they've almost thrown the Jehovah's Witnesses out of their country for the abuses of children and women. And, you know, they've taken them to court, and they'll spend any amount of money to get out of that trouble. That's the part that boggles my mind. They'll do anything to cover that up. And I'm a father, and it's Father's Day, and it's horrific to speak of these things in public. But I feel the need to bring it up because they're to pull from their own book and their own teachings. Their clothes are like dirty rags. Their clothes are like dirty rags. They know what they've done. They know what they're doing, and they continue to do it to this day. And they'll continue to do it tomorrow. You don't have to be a time traveler to know that they did it then, they're doing it now, and they're going to continue doing it tomorrow. And they don't give a crap what you think. And they know they're evil. They know. I'm going to tell you a real secret. I'm going to tell you a secret. I like to preach that there are no secrets, there's no hidden truths, but there are a few little ones. These aren't earth-shaking ones, but this might be important. And I assure you, I am speaking the truth right now. I am 57 years old. Every minister, priest, holy man I've ever talked to has admitted to me, after you pin them down on questioning, or you've asked the right questions, you have to know what to ask, that they know everything they do is a charade. They know religion's a fraud. They know. They read it, and when they read it, read the holy books, they know the contradictions, they know the mistakes, they know the impossibilities of it. They know it's a fraud. It's a game. It's a manipulation game to control us, to give us a set of morals and guidance so that they can control the sheep. You're the sheep. They're the shepherds. They control and manipulate their flock. And they tell you about it every Sunday, you know. Good shepherd, good shepherd. Taking care of the flock. Taking care of the flock. You're the flock. Sorry. And they know. They know the origins of the holy books. They know where they came from. They know how they were created. And it wasn't the way they're allowing you to be taught. They know. They know. When I was a child, I'll just tell you this story. When I was a child, they brought our preacher, our minister. I was a Methodist, Protestant Methodist, and we were going through confirmation, which is like, joining the church as a 13-year-old, around a 12, 13-year-old. It might be different in different religions, but it's kind of coming of age. Kind of like when you're bar mitzvahed, you learn about the temple and everything, and Catholics do it too, but a little differently. It's around when you're 12, 13. 14, that age group. They, the guy teaching the class had a big day planned. We're going to have our minister, Reverend whatever, I'll leave his name out of it. He's going to come there. I know who he is, but I just don't want to say his name. He's going to come and talk to us on one of our confirmation classes. Okay, it's cool. Pass the time. I liked going to church back then, and I liked confirmation, and I enjoyed reading it. I pretty much knew it was a big joke because I read the Bible. I mean, just read Samson, read what Joshua did after Moses let him take over. Read the stuff that King David did. Oh my God. It's pretty bad. Even for Hollywood, it would be bad if they really told the true stories. But Lot and his daughters, I mean, it just goes on and on. Anyway, I digress. Not a fan of the Bible. It's not a good book at all. A little too much incest and rape and murder of children and women for me. Too much rape. Way too much rape for me. There's an actual law in the book of the Bible where if a guy rapes my daughter and he soils her virginity, so that's not worth anything because you're supposed to sell your daughters off as slaves, sex slaves. You get paid for your daughters. There's sex slaves that have no right to freedom. They're not indentured servants. If you think I'm wrong, you can contest me on that, but look it up. But if a guy rapes your daughter, now he's ruined her value as a sex slave, basically. And I'm being a little harsh here, but I'm being honest. Because I love my daughter. I want everybody to know this. So the guy has to pay you, like, I think it's 30 pieces of silver if he rapes your daughter. But then, since he paid you for the rape, he has to marry her then. So your daughter has to marry her assault, the assaulter, her rapist. And I know you're not allowed to say that word on YouTube. You're supposed to use the word grape. I didn't. And I know you're not supposed to speak of these things on YouTube. I did. And it's because it's there. That's the truth. And I spoke the truth. I spoke the truth, and you can look it up and tell me I'm wrong. Look it up and tell me that if a man rapes my daughter, he can pay me silver, and then I am obligated to make her marry her rapist. Tell me I'm wrong. And I don't want to hear that the New Testament changes the Old, because Jesus said, I am here to fulfill the law. The law will stand as long as heaven and earth remain. He was here not to take away from the law, not to change a tittle or a word of it. So he was full in step with the law. So I'm sorry, but that's the truth, and I'll stand by that as well. And I love my daughter, and I won't have that law, that people who think that's okay over my daughter's head. And I'm sorry if that offends people or hurts you or upsets you, but I love my daughter. Every father should love his child, and every father should want his child to have a better life. So I'm off on a tangent. I'm in confirmation class, and this reverend comes in and he starts rambling. He's going through a lot in his personal life. He's not, all with it. He's upset. He's kind of confused and doesn't know which way the world's turning. He had a daughter that had leukemia, and she was dying. So that's enough to stress any father out. I know he loved his daughter. It was breaking him on every level. And he was talking to us about the Bible and joining the church and what religion actually meant and what religion needs to be in your life. And he broke down. He couldn't lie anymore. All the pressure of what he was going through with his daughter dying of leukemia, and the stress of being a single father. His wife had divorced him. He really had a hard go of it. But I think he just couldn't lie anymore. I really saw that. The more I look back on that moment in my life, I feel a lot of sorrow for him. He was brokenhearted, and he couldn't lie anymore. He couldn't lie. He just couldn't do it. And he just all of a sudden bluntly said, look, these stories, they were just stories people told around the campfire to control people and explain the world around them. It's just a moral book to give people a guidepost, so it gives them somewhere to go with it. They're just stories that cavemen told around a fire. He just blurted that out, and I remember the teacher of the class, his eyes were like as big as saucers, and I went, bingo, that wasn't supposed to happen. And I was a very intuitive, quick kid, and I knew right then and there. And you could tell he was struggling, but you could tell he was in a moral dilemma. And I went home and I told my dad. I really respected my dad at the time. My dad was everything to me. I couldn't envision life without my father in my life. My father exerted great control over me. He was a very hard person to deal with, very domineering and tough person to be around. And I just was, I told my dad what he said. And my dad looked at me. He was so mad. And he went, he shouldn't have said that to you. He shouldn't have told you that. He didn't correct him. He said he shouldn't have told us. He shouldn't have done that. But he didn't say, oh, no, he's wrong. Or, oh, no, that's not correct. That's not what he meant. I don't think he even realized he did it. Because he didn't even realize he was telling the truth, too. He wasn't lying either. He was admitting it. He was admitting it to his son. I think there's something inside people that prevents them from being a filthy, immoral liar, like most people in religion. He told the truth. He didn't even realize he did it. He said, he shouldn't have told you that. It shocked me. I didn't misinterpret this. This isn't a young boy misinterpreting what he heard. I know exactly what I heard and what it meant. My dad would, if I said something and my dad didn't believe that was the truth, he would correct me. Verbally and otherwise, he would correct me on something. No, you're wrong. This is what happened. This is how it went down. This is really what was going on. Oh, that's so good. Are you guys having a good time? My father didn't correct that statement. In fact, he didn't even want to talk about it. He wanted to shut the conversation down. He shouldn't have said that. Why did he do that? He shouldn't have said that. I was like, I think I hid I almost passed out. I was shocked. I mean, I had my doubts as a Christian and I had my doubts on the Bible, but this was earth-shattering for me. I knew right then and there, this is all a lie. All of it. This is unbelievable. And I'm not a jerk. Like, I don't just take something and run with it. I'm sorry, but I tested that my whole life. Every time I ran across a holy man, whatever he was, especially ministers, I would test this and start asking them, who actually wrote the Bible, where it was written. By the way, it was written in Greek. That's the original Bible text. Like when these guys go to seminary, did they ever tell you that? When these ministers and priests go to seminary, it's a college for becoming a minister. Have they ever told you this? That when they go there, they study theology. They take theology classes and other classes, but they always study Greek. Well, why do you need to learn Greek? Oh, so I can read the Bible in its original text. It wasn't written over in the Middle East. It was written by the Greeks in Greece from a Greek perspective. If you actually study the Bible and study scholarship of the Bible, the people were writing it geographically like they were from the Greek islands, the Greek Asia Minor and Greek Peninsula. They weren't writing it as if they lived in Arabia in the Middle East, where Israel is today. And it was written in Greek. It wasn't written in Aramaic or or even Egyptian, like you would think it would be. Like you'd think we'd have Exodus, and that would be written in some kind of Egyptian dialect, but it wasn't. It was all written in Greek. The original texts. And I don't want to get into this big discussion, but it kind of blew my mind. They just took the polytheistic parts of the Greek religion out and made it a monotheistic religion combining it with a Canaanite god of, I think Yahweh was the god of thunder or something, like Thor or Zeus. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm pretty close, but I might be wrong. But I know I'm right on the general terms. And every time I ran against a minister that would start shooting his mouth off and everything, I would start asking them certain questions, and they get nervous. They don't like that. And I remember running into a minister once, and he was, you're going to be a minister, huh? You studied seminary, huh? Oh, yeah. So you took, religious studies, and you learned Greek, right? Yeah, I studied Greek. And this happened over and over in my life. I mean, I don't know how many times. And you know what my next question would be? So you know, don't you? You know, don't you? You know what I get back as an answer? Lock it up and throw away the key. I get silence. I have never, when I ask that question of any, and I'm sure it'll change now because I challenge them, every single minister I've ever asked, well then you know, don't you? You know the truth, don't you? I am greeted with silence. Silence. So, them. And I mean that from the heart. Screw them. They know. But they don't want you to know. Because you're the sheep. You're the flock. And they're leading us down a path of destruction. They're leading us down a path. They see that their days are numbered. That people are getting wise to their crap. And they see the numbers increasing in the atheist and agnostic movement, and they can't stop it. Birth rates are down. That's why they're pushing this quiverful movement where they want women to just have one baby after another. That's why they're starting all this racial crap that white babies and, white women, and you gotta have babies, They see their days are numbered, and they need to get their population back up. Keep that control. And they're losing it. And they don't like it. They don't like it at all. And they don't like the Catholics coming in. They don't like Mormonism. They don't like the Jehovah's. Jehovah's don't vote, by the way. So they hate the Jehovah's, because Jehovah's are the worst. They're like, they don't even vote. We can't even get them to do what they're supposed to do. So, I mean, I'm sure there's Jehovah's that vote, but most of them, I think as a religion, they don't. They choose not to. It's a form of, I don't want to say it's a form of civil disobedience, but they choose to stay out of government actions. At least I was told that. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. So they really hate them because they won't vote with them as a bloc. That's bullcrap. But anyway, I'm going all over the place. That's why they want to stop this abortion crap, because that's 30,000, 40,000 babies that they could pull into the old flock every year. They need those numbers. They don't care about you. The Bible's very clear. The Bible has many instances of abortion and forced infanticide on women. There's lots of verses in the Bible that refer to kill the women, the children, rip their babies from their wounds. There's even a description of instruction on a chemical abortion. You can take your wife to the priest, the rabbi, whatever he is, and perform a ritual, to a magic potion to that will perform a chemical abortion on a woman. So that, they're full of crap, and the Bible's full of instances where kill them all, kill the women, men, children, everything, but keep the virgins for themselves. There's all kinds of malfeasance and rape and genocide and murder in there, and it's all dictated by the holy fathers and the holy priests, and God himself dictates it. And Samson was a disgusting human being. He was basically a serial killer, but they consider him one of the finest kings, the strong man of the Bible. I had a children's Bible that glorified Samson, so I wanted to read the original text. And I read the original stories by Samson, and it broke my back. It broke my Holy Spirit right out of me. That was the end of me. Samson was a murderer. He lost a bet with some men. This is just one story out of the whole book. He was a horrible person. He lost a bet, so he went down and found these Philistines and killed like 24 men. Killed them, murdered them, and took all their possessions, their clothes and everything, to pay off the bet. And he took all these bloody clothes from these men that he killed. I mean, that's kind of, maybe I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm right. And he threw the clothes at the people he made the bet with. Like, here, I paid your bet off. Screw you. And it's like, you just killed 24 something men and stole their personal possessions to pay off your debt that you lost. Holy crap. This is the strong man of the Bible. This is what I'm supposed to emulate. This is, what the hell Delilah did everybody a favor getting rid of that guy, because he was a horrible person. Like, they had every right to go after him and kill him because he was killing them. He was a real jerk. Like, I don't even understand. Like, don't say you don't understand. I understand it completely. I read it. I've read it. I know. And it's not good. It's just not good. It's against everything we teach. And I think they use that book to justify today some of the malfeasances that are going on, the criminal acts against children that go on today, the abuse, molestation, and all the stuff that goes on that goes on against children is basically codified in the Bible. And so, well, this guy did it, that guy did it, this guy did it. I just couldn't help myself. I was just following their instruction, basically. I was just following what they did. I was weak. And then you can just pray and go, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do it. Forgive me. Oh, you're forgiven. Well, I got news. They can forgive you in the church. They can let it go on, and they can still invite you to turkey dinner on Thanksgiving with the family and make your victim sit right across from you. And I've seen that in my own family, where they make a female have to deal with the person who assaulted them. And I just am appalled by it. You can still have turkey dinner on Thanksgiving, but there's this other thing called the law and the rule of law and man's law. They separate the two. That's man's law. That's man's word. Well, man's law and man's word says that person needs to go to jail. That man needs to go in front of a jury and a judge for what he did. And I don't want that rule of law changed. There was a couple politicians murdered yesterday during the rallies. A man was disguised as a police officer. He had a manifesto and a list of, I think, 70 politicians he wanted to murder. And he killed a woman and her husband, and I think he shot 2 other politicians that are still alive. And the first thing out of my mouth was, oh, that's okay. Trump will pardon him. Not a big deal. I don't even know why they would bring him to trial, because Trump's just going to pardon him anyway. That's my opinion on it. I know he had a tweet on it, how, we shouldn't do that, and we're looking into it. Yeah, you're looking into it. Because you got to know the guy's name when you write the pardon, you know. That's how I feel. That's where I think we're at right now. I mean, the January Sixers assaulted police officers. They broke into the Capitol. They damaged public property that we, the taxpayers, paid for. The Capitol is our building. We, the people, paid for that. We, the people, financed that building. We, the people, pay for those police that protect our senators and our congressmen. And the January Sixers assaulted, and there was deaths that day on both sides. And he pardoned them. So what's the big deal if the guy whacked a couple of Democrats? Not a big deal. What was his name again? I gotta write it down on the pardon. I'm sorry, but that's where I'm at right now. And if you can't forgive me for that, I'm sorry too, because I think I'm right. And it breaks my heart every day. Some Father's Day, huh? I hope you had fun drinking a beer with me. Oh my gosh. I need you to know this isn't just for views and clicks and everything. This is me. This is who I am. And I'm not afraid of it. And I'm not ashamed of it. I don't share everything in my life with all of you because I am a very private person, but I want you to know that when I sincerely say I do care about my audience, when I say I do greet you as friends, when I say that I worry about you, I'm telling the truth. I worry about my kids every day. I've had many loves in my life and many losses, and I've lost a lot of friends and a lot of people, and they're not here today. Some of them were killed or crushed by the same forces that I'm speaking out about today, because they couldn't cope, or they got themselves in a situation where they couldn't deal with it, or it just became too much for them, or they got themselves into a really bad situation and they just couldn't get through it. Maybe sometimes it was just an accident, but I've lost enough people. I've lost enough friends. Some people want to think they want to live forever. I'm 57 and I don't know how anyone could do another 50 years of this. Watching all of the people you love go away. Watching people indiscriminately destroy them because they want to know who you're sleeping with or who you're married to or what you do in your bedroom. I live to protect my children. I live to protect the ones I love. And I'll never stop. I'll never quit. They'll have to screw me into the ground to get rid of me. And I can say that with the clearest of conscience. And that goes for you out there watching right now. I know it's hard to believe some guy sitting behind a monitor talking crap cares about the people listening, but I do. I do. Oh, Lord. That is good. That is good. Billy D, Billy D. Billy D used to do commercials for this. Billy D. Williams. Lando Calrissian. Lando Calrissian. He was the coolest. And those 3 Star Wars movies, the new ones they made, sucked so bad. But Lando in the last one was pretty damn cool. Labels out. Labels out, my people. I'm not a paper dragon, and I'm not a BS artist. I put my money where my mouth is. I put my channel on the line, and I put my ass on the line. And I went to that rally yesterday, and my wife and I stood up to what we thought was overreach in the executive branch. And my wife got interviewed by Occupy Democrats. The video is on YouTube. I'll put a link below. She's at the end. She has a sign, a DEI sign. And her thing was, she said, "How do you sleep at night? How do you sleep at night for what you've done to people?" And I think that's a fair statement. I think that the felon in charge, Orange Jesus, Taco Boy, whatever you want to call him, he knows. He knows he's an a-hole. He knows he's a jerk. He knows he falls very far short of the glory of God. No matter what his little religious buddies tell him. But I do wonder, how does he sleep at night? How do you sleep at night when you've taken away women's right to choose, women's right to have autonomy over their body? That's what it's about. It's not about whether or not you can have an abortion. It's about whether or not a woman has a right to autonomy of her own body. If a woman wants her ovaries removed or wants birth control to protect her, they want to take that away. They're taking it away. There's no doubt about it. They're criminalizing women who have miscarriages. Women are dying because of this, and they're proud of that. They're proud of that. And that breaks my heart every day. Sorry if this seems a little down, but I think it brings strength, at least to me, because I didn't back down to these cowards. I've met so many of them and dealt with them over the years. They can't stand it when you stand up to them. And they have no reply. They like to do the stick and the carrot where they say, like, well, you'll see. You'll see when you die. When you die, you'll see. I'm like, oh, there it is, the threats. Here comes the threats. When I die, I'll see. When you have to stand in front of your maker. Yeah, there it is. There's the threat. There's the threat. That's all you got. Yep, you already lost me, so that didn't work. Because I don't care about your threat. Good, because when I'm there, I'm going to tell them about you. When I'm there, in front of the maker. This is a good one. I've really pissed a lot of people off with this one. This one doesn't go over so well. When you die, you'll see. You'll be in front of your maker, and then you'll have to explain yourself. I go, oh, you bet your ass I will. And I'm going to tell him all about you. I'm going to tell him what you did. I'm going to tell him how you hurt people. How you took the rights away from people. They don't like that. That doesn't go over well. What did I do? I'm going to tell them all about you and what you did. That's fine. I'll stand right in front of him. I'll tell him everything. He can pick my brain all he wants. We'll see how that goes. I'll take my chances. I was a good steward of what I was given. I was a good father. I took care of my children. I protected my flock. I protected those under me. I was a loyal friend and a loyal person. Loyal to a fault. Loyal when it was against my best interests. I'm going to tell them about you. I want you to think about that today, on Father's Day. Thank you for joining me today. I had a good time. I haven't drank in a very long time. I'm a little, I don't think I'm buzzing because that's not really true. I'm feeling good. It's first thing in the morning. Ready to go back to bed. Good thing I don't have a lighter. I'd probably catch my breath on fire. Whoo, baby. Malt Liquor. Labels out. Colt 45. Works every time. I hope you had a good time today. I know this may not be the greatest outcome. Oh, by the way, the rally, I got all distracted. The rally was peaceful, calm. There were a couple agitators there. The police removed the one. Only one got removed because he was really trying to start a fight with the crowd. And it wasn't a MAGA person or a pro-Trump person. He had an Israeli flag. I don't know what was wrong with this guy, but he was really trying to antagonize the crowd, like very horrible language, and he would pull up and start arguing with people in his car, and it really was looking not good. So the police actually blocked the streets off where the protest was and followed him and must have had a little talk with him, and he went home or left because he just disappeared. I don't think he was arrested, detained, or anything like that, because Youngstown's a really cool city. They probably just told him, you had your say, now go home. He was just really putting it out there. I don't want to get into what he was saying, but it wasn't like a pro-Israel, anti-Palestine thing. He was just really amping it up. I think everybody would agree if if you're peacefully demonstrating, but you're have an opposition opinion, that's fine. But when you're trying to antagonize a crowd and actually physically trying to get into an altercation with somebody, it's fine if the police step in and just separate the two, and that's basically what I'm talking about. There was no police didn't pick sides or limit his rights or anything. He was carrying on for quite a while, probably half hour, 45 minutes before the police intervened. So he got his message out, and it just got to be a little too much. Other than that, it was very peaceful. I did say some things to a couple Trump supporters that might have hurt their feelings, and if I did, sorry. I think I made one of them cry. Once again, sorry, but you showed up. You put your balls up around your neck and walked into that hornet's nest. So if somebody hurt your feelings, I've had my feelings hurt for the last 24 hours by everybody and their brother calling me every name in the book. So, sucks. But we go on. We go on together, don't we? Yeah, you and I. Hope you enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun. I was going to do this live, but I think this was better because now I can go get some sleep. I can sleep this off. I'm not a big drinker anymore. I definitely want to do a Edward, what do they call that? What do they call that? Not Edward. I can't remember. Well, I want to do two. What do they call that? Edward, I don't remember. Edward 40 Hands, that's what it was. Yeah, I want to do one of those here soon. I gotta find matching 40s. They're very hard to find anymore. So when I find matching 40s, I'll do an Edward 40's Hands for everyone. Okay? Promise. And I hope you have a wonderful Father's Day with your family, with your dad, or just in remembrance of him. Thank you for all the well wishes. I love you guys so much. You're wonderful. All you guys and girls out there, you make me want to go on. You make me strong. And I really do love my audience. And I really do believe I have the best audience out there. You guys are precious. So take care. Have a wonderful holiday. My daughter and my future son-in-law, I hope, John is coming over later, and McKenna and John are coming. So my daughter and her boyfriend are coming over. He's her boyfriend. They've been together a long time. I just love those two. And John is a hard worker. He's working his ass off. He's a great guy. and I really respect them, and I can't wait to see them. We're all going to go on a mini micro weekend vacation here soon on the 4th of July, so I have that to look forward to, and I'm hoping to do a live stream from that for everyone. I want to do a live stream while I'm there, or at least do a video when I'm there, because I like to get away for the holidays for 4th of July. I go to, this is going to sound crazy, I really do this. I go to Amish country, and I disappear into the wilds of Ohio so I can get away from the fireworks and everything, because my dogs hate it and I can't sleep with all that crap going on. I don't have PTSD, but I just don't like it. It keeps me up half the night. So I'd rather go get a cabin out in the woods and just relax and fish and eat an ice cream. That's my big goal. I'm going to have an ice cream. I've been haven't had an ice cream all year. I'm going to have an ice cream. And I'll tell you more about that later. And do a little fishing and a little barbecue. Have some hamburgers, hot dogs, a couple steaks on the grill. And that's the weekend, ham and eggs, steak and bacon eggs, and a couple of cheeseburgers, and just call it a weekend. But I can't wait to share that with all of you. We have a nice 2-bedroom cabin in Amish country, and I promise I'll share that with you. So if you stay till the end, that's a little thing I gave everybody. So hopefully we'll see you then. All right, until then, until I see you all again, and I'll see you very soon. Let me know if you like the new direction of the channel, that I'm being a little more provocative, a little more political. If it speaks to you, if it helps you, let me know what you think. And we will do some more regular ASMR too. But until... Wipe the nose. Until I see you all again, happy Father's Day. Know that I love you, and I really am keeping you in my thoughts and in my heart today of all days. So don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, and a like. It really helps the channel. So take care. Bye-bye. And know that I love you guys. I love you a lot. Bye. Dr. Andrew Michaels, out.